Dearest Lawrence, such years since I heard anything of you. Must come to Indian Island, the most enchanting place. So much to talk over. Old days, communion with nature, back in sunshine. 12:40 from Paddington. Meet you at Oakbridge. Ever, Constance Colmington. When was the last time I saw Lady Constance Colmington? Was it 7? No, 8 years ago? She had been getting ready to leave for Italy to bask in the sun and be in one with nature. Later on, from a mutual friend, I heard that she went to Syria afterward. She is exactly the type of woman to buy an island and surround herself with mystery.
I have received your name from the Skilled Woman Agency, together with their recommendation. I understand they know you personally. I shall be glad to pay you the salary you ask, and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. The train is the 12:40 from Paddington, and you will meet at Oakbridge Station. I enclose 5 one-pound notes for expenses. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Soldier Island has been in all of the papers lately. All sorts of interesting rumors. The house was definitely built by a millionaire. I'm lucky to even have this job. After all, people don't like a coroner's inquest, even if the coroner did acquit me of all blame. He even complimented me on my courage and mindfulness. For an inquest, it couldn't have gone better, and Mrs. Hamilton had been kindness itself to her. Only Hugo. No, don't think of Hugo. But all I can see is his head bobbing off in the distant ocean as I try to swim toward him, even though I know I won't reach him in time. Stop thinking about him. Oh my God, who is that? Oh, is he looking at me? Oh, I really hope he's not looking at me. He is not attractive. Look away, look away.
She's quite attractive. Kind of schoolmistressy, though. She looks like she could hold her own. I wouldn't mind taking her on. No, stop. This is just business. That little man who told me about this had been so mysterious. 100 guineas, though. Worth it when I was down to my last square meal. I remember how the man wouldn't tell me what the client wanted, but I made sure to tell him I couldn't do anything illegal. The man said that I could back out if there were any requests for illegal actions, but it was almost like he knew that I had walked the edge of legality many times before. He said it would take a week at most, and I needed the money. There isn't much I will draw the line at, and I think I'm going to enjoy myself at Soldier Island.
The present generation is a shame with their relaxed posture and demeanor, in their carriage and in every other way. Everyone makes such a fuss over everything nowadays. They want injections before getting their teeth pulled, and women lay on beaches half naked. This generation has certainly thrown out all principles of the past. Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago, and we seem to have so much in common. I am starting a guest house of my own on an island off the coast of Devon. I think there is really an opening for a place where there is a good plain cooking, and a nice old-fashioned type of person. None of this nudity and graphomes half the night. I shall be very glad if you could see your way to spending your summer holiday on Indian Island, quite free as my guest. Would early in August suit you? Perhaps the 8th? Yours sincerely, UNO. I can't seem to read the signature. So many people write their signatures quite illegibly.
The letter was very unclear about who Mr. Owen was, but I do remember it saying that 1 or 2 of your old cronies are coming and would like to have a talk over old times. I would certainly enjoy a talk about old times. I'm very interested to see the Soldier Island, considering all the gossip that has been flying around about the island. Oh, the next train is an hour wait. I do not want to wait. I want to go now. I'm so tired. Success has its penalties. My ventures had succeeded, and now I'm a very good man at my job, and have grown in popularity as a result of my work on one woman who soon told all of her friends about me. This popularity has kept me busy for a long time. My days have been so busy and packed that I barely have time to do anything other than sleep and work. I'm so excited to take off work and enjoy my time at Soldier Island, even though I was still working there. A man was concerned about his wife's health, and she refused to see a doctor, so he called me to come visit. It's a good thing that I have pulled myself together since that business 10 years ago. I've cut out drinking altogether now. It took that one time to shock me back to reality.
what?
You've been sitting at the green light for like 3 minutes. It is green. That means go. Can you go?
No, you can go around me.
It's an intersection. I can't go around you.
No, I'm exercising my right to stay here, okay?
Exercising your right. I'm gonna exercise my right to walk there myself.
It's my right to walk there myself.
Around the roads, it's frightful. Always something blocking your way, and they will drive in the middle of the road. Pretty hopeless driving in England. Anyway, not like France where you could really let out. Should I stop here for a drink? Or push on? Apes of time. Only another 100 miles and a bit to go. This island place better not be rather fun if the weather lasted. And who were the Owens? Rich and stinking. Probably Badger was rather good at nosing people like that out. Hopefully they will have good drinks, and there will probably be a few girls there.
Wow, this is a lot of people. Emily Brent, Vera Claythorne, Dr. Armstrong, Anthony Marston, Justice Wargrave, Philip Longbard, General MacArthur, and Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. But it's nothing I can't handle.
A storm is coming.
What are you talking about? It's a beautiful day out.
I said a storm is coming. I can smell it.
Maybe you're right.
Watch and pray, watch and pray. Day of judgment is at hand.
Hello and welcome to Indian Island. I'm Mr. Rogers and this is Mrs. Rogers. We'll be taking care of you while you're staying here. We are sorry to inform you that Mr. Owens and his wife have been delayed and will not be here until tomorrow morning. So feel free to make yourself at home and dinner will be served around 6 p.m.
So this is your room. I hope everything's to your liking.
Yeah, everything is, I think.
I will leave you then.
10 little Indians. 10 little Indian boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little Indian boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8. 8 little Indian boys traveling in Devon. One said he'd stay there, and then there were 7. 7 little Indian boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in halves, and then there were 6. 6 little Indian boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little Indian boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. 4 little Indian boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little Indian boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little Indian boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up, and then there was 1. 1 little Indian boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none. Probably not important.
Man, I remember this house from when I was a kid. I can't believe I'm here doing this job in this house. Man, it's a good thing we can't see the future, I guess. Oh look, 10 little Indians.
Quaint, these things, aren't they? Yeah, there's like 10 of them.
Yeah, there's 10.
Like the 10 Little Indians, this poem that's hung in my room, kind of like Indian Island.
That poem's in my room, too.
Me too.
That's an amusing idea.
Remarkably childish.
I don't think this place would be very agreeable with a storm.
Probably not. It must be hard to have servants here in the winter.
Must be difficult to get servants here anyway.
Mrs. Oliver is lucky. She has those two. The woman knows how to cook.
Yeah, Mrs. Owens is very lucky indeed.
Did you just say Owens?
Yeah,
I've never met anyone named Owens in my life.
but surely...
You ladies in for a drink?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
thanks.
Thank you.
So how was the trip down?
It was pretty good, but some guy tried to run me off the road.
Drink, please.
Hey, you look familiar.
Nope, never seen it before.
I think I remember that hat being thrown at me through my window.
No, this hat I just got in the store. Have you not been to the store upstairs? No? Oh, you really should go there.
Excuse me.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. You are charged with the following indictments. Edward George Armstrong, that you did upon the 14th day of March 1925 cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleese. Emily Carolyn Brent, that upon the 5th of November 1931 you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. William Henry Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Lander on October 10th, 1928. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that on the 11th day of August 1935 you killed Cyril Ogilvie Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that upon a date in February 1932 you were guilty of the death of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon MacArthur, that on the 4th of January 1917 you deliberately sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that upon the 14th day of November last you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that on the 6th of May 1929 you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that upon the 10th day of June 1930 you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense? Today I take an L.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she just fainted. I'm gonna go get her some sedatives.
Okay, come on, time to go to bed.
Now then, let's get to the bottom of this. Who is Mr. Owens?
I don't know, I've never met him.
How have you never met him?
I received a letter in the mail requesting our services, and we came here, but he wasn't here yet, and so I've never met him.
All right then. Well, let's find out how this truly happened.
I'd like to talk to you guys about the boy, Cyril Hamilton. I was his nanny, and he was forbidden to swim. One day I got distracted, and he went out for a swim, and he swam so far that even though I swam after him, I couldn't get to him in time. It's awful, but I swear it wasn't my fault.
Don't worry, this man who's doing this to us is mad. Young Arthur Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him off on a recon mission and he got killed. It was just an occurrence of wartime.
About the natives, I did leave them in the bush. It was a matter of self-preservation. We went out there and we got lost, and so me and a couple of the guys took the food and ran.
You left them there?
We had to. It was the only way we could survive.
I was just thinking about John and Lucy Combs. They must have been the two kids that I ran over back in Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
Them are for you.
If I may, sir, my wife and I took very good care of Mrs. Brady. She was very sick, and one night when there was a storm, the doctor couldn't come out, and she died that night.
The name they sent for me, I don't recognize it, but it could have been a patient from the hospital. If they come in so late, there's nothing I can do for them.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing?
Nothing. Well, I think we should all head to bed. Wait for the motorboat to come in the morning, and then we'll leave.
This is like a murder mystery. It's so thrilling.
He's dead.
I didn't think anyone could die from choking like that.
No, he didn't die from choking. His drink was poisoned, most likely cyanide.
I could have sworn there were 10. Sir!
What is it?
I can't wake my wife. Something's wrong. Is she?
Yes, she's dead. I thought I should wait until after we had eaten to tell you all the sad news. Mrs. Rogers passed away in her sleep last night.
How awful. 2 deaths on the island since the time we've arrived.
What was the cause of death?
I cannot tell. I don't know the lady's state of health.
It's probably a heart problem.
Or it could be a crisis of conscience. You saw her last night when she was accused. She fainted.
Maybe it was a heart, maybe it wasn't. I cannot tell.
About that motorboat.
I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing too. It should have been here 2 hours ago.
Why do you think it didn't come?
I just know it's not an accident.
So you think it's not coming?
The motorboat's not coming. You don't think so, General? Of course it won't come. We're never leaving this island. It's the end. It's the end of everything. There goes another crazy one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
It's the figurines in the middle of the table. I could have sworn last night that there were 10.
Yes, 10. We counted them last night at dinner.
Well, last night when I was clearing up, there were only 9, and then this morning there were only 8.
Only 8. It's you. Come.
Do you like sitting here, looking out at the sea?
Yeah, it's a good place to wait.
Wait, what are you waiting for?
The end. But you know that, don't you? I think all of us are waiting for the end.
What do you mean?
None of us are going to leave this island. Although, what you can't understand is the relief.
The relief?
Yeah, when you can leave this burden behind.
I don't understand you.
I loved Leslie.
Was Leslie your wife?
Yeah, she was my wife. I loved her, and I was proud of her. That's why I did what I did.
You mean...
Yeah, I sent Richmond to his death. He damn well right deserved it. But afterwards, Leslie was so far away, I couldn't reach her. And then she died and left me all alone. You'll understand the end someday.
I don't know what you mean. I don't understand.
Where's me that the boat hasn't been here today?
Wow, you guys have had an active morning.
An active morning, but no one. There's no one on the island.
Oh, I hope I'm not late. I hope you guys weren't waiting for me.
You're not the last. We're still waiting for the general.
I'll go and get him. General MacArthur!
Dead?
Yes, he's dead.
Oh, miss. I just came to see.
You are quite right, Rogers. Look for yourself. There are only 7.
Well, doctor,
MacArthur was hit over the head with a life preserver, or some other blunt object.
did you see the murder weapon?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And you were searching the island all day.
Yes.
We've come to the same conclusion, that Tony Marston and Mrs. Rogers' death was no coincidence.
But there's no one left on the island.
In a sense, no. Meaning, Mr. Owens is one of us.
We have to get out of here. We have to get out of here at all costs.
Not anytime soon. The storm's raging.
So what are we gonna do?
Well, there are a few things that we can do.
But we don't know who it could be.
I wouldn't say that.
Do you mean you know who it is?
I have no evidence, but I think I know who it is. It's quite obvious.
I don't understand. Come in.
Has anyone brought you tea or woken you up?
No, why? Where's Rogers?
He's not in his room and he seems to be missing.
I'll get ready. I'll be out in a minute.
Okay. It seems as if he's cleared the table.
He could have cleaned it last night.
That's true.
There's only 6.
It's clear that the murderer hit him over the back of the head with an axe while he was chopping wood.
Would they have needed a great force to do this, Doctor?
If you're asking if a woman could do it, yes.
Do they keep bees on this island? And where do the bees go for honey? Don't stare at me like that. I'm not crazy. You all have read the poem that is in your bedrooms. Remember, the 7th line that is like 7 little Indian boys chopping up sticks? No, doesn't click up here? Okay, how about the next verse, the next line? 6 little Indian boys playing with a hive. That's why I'm asking, because of the bees, because it's in the 6th line, so the next person dying is going to be involved with bees, okay?
Is it a bee? What did Erica say about bees earlier? Yeah, my favorite beer is like a minute.
Come quick, it's Emily Brent.
It looks like it was a hypodermic needle that killed her.
Look, a bumblebee.
It wasn't a bee that did it. It was a human hand that held the syringe.
What was the poison?
It looks like it was cyanide.
But the bee, it couldn't be a coincidence.
Oh no, it's not a coincidence.
I'm gonna go take a shower.
Okay. He died by a gunshot to the head.
Oh my god!
What was that?
What?
Armstrong's the thing.
There are only 3 figures.
Alright. We have to get off this island.
Let's try and signal the mainland with fire.
Okay, we'll signal them in an hour.
I think I should have the gun.
Why would I give you the gun?
Because what if you shoot me in the back?
If I was gonna shoot you in the back, I would have shot you in the back already.
Stop fighting. Fighting amongst ourselves is not gonna help. We should just find a way to get off this island.
Well, what about the red herring line of the poem? What if Armstrong's the red herring? What if he's still alive? We have to get out of here. We have to signal the mainland.
Boat! People! Somebody! Oh, what are those?
It's Armstrong. He's dead. Wait, no, Vera, don't do it.
From my earliest youth, I realized that my nature was a mass of contradictions. It thrills me still, and for that reason I have adopted this course, writing my confession and closing it in a bottle, sealing the latter, and casting it into the waves. There is, I suppose, 100 to 1 chance that my confession may be found, and then an unsolved murder mystery will be explained. I have a definite sadistic delight in seeing or causing death. From an early age I knew very strongly the lust to kill. But side by side with this went a contradictory trait, a strong sense of justice. It may be understood, I think a psychologist would understand, that my mental makeup being what it was, I adopted law as a profession. Crime and its punishment has always fascinated me. I enjoy reading every kind of detective story and thriller. I have devised for my own private amusement the most ingenious way of carrying out a murder. When presiding over a court of law, seeing a wretched criminal squirming in the dock, suffering the tortures of the damned, as his doom came slowly and slowly nearer, was to me an exquisite pleasure. Mind you, I took no pleasure in seeing an innocent man there. I have a reputation as a hanging judge, but that is unfair. For some years past, I have been aware of a change within myself, a lessening of control, a desire to act instead of judge. I have wanted, let me admit it frankly, to commit a murder myself. I must commit a murder, and what is more, it must be no ordinary murder. It must be a fantastical crime, something stupendous, out of the common. Potassium cyanide is easily obtained by householders for putting down wasps. I had some in my possession, and it was easy to slip into Marston's almost empty glass during the tense period after the gramophone recital. When Rogers brought up some brandy for his wife, he sat it down on the table, and in passing that table, I put the chloral hydrate into the brandy. General MacArthur met his death quite painlessly. He did not hear me come up from behind him. A search was made of the island, and it was discovered that there was no one on it but our 7 selves. That at once created an atmosphere of suspicion. I selected Dr. Armstrong as my ally. He was a gullible man who knew me by sight and reputation. All his suspicions were directed against Lombard, and I pretended to concur in these. I hinted to him that I had a scheme by which it might be possible to trap the murderer into incriminating himself. I killed Rogers on the morning of August 10th. He was chopping sticks and did not hear me approach. I found the key to the dining room door in his pocket. He had locked it from the night before. During the confusion, I slipped into Lombard's room and took his revolver. At breakfast, I slipped my last dose of chloral hydrate into Miss Brent's coffee when I was refilling her cup. A little while later, she was nearly unconscious, and it was easy to inject a strong solution of cyanide into her. The bumblebee business was really rather childish. I liked adhering as closely as possible to my nursery rhyme. It was then that I intimated to Armstrong that we must carry out our plan into effect. It was simply this: I must appear to be the next victim. Armstrong was keen on the idea. We carried it out that evening. A little plaster of red mud on the forehead. The only person who had examined me closely was Armstrong. They carried me upstairs and laid me on my bed. Nobody worried about me. They were all too deadly scared and terrified of each other. I had a rendezvous with Armstrong outside the house at 1:45. I took him up a little way behind the house on the edge of the cliff. If only he had remembered the words of the nursery rhyme. A red herring swallowed one. He took the red herring all right. A quick, vigorous push sent him off his balance and splash into the heaving sea below. And now came the moment that I had anticipated. 3 people who were so frightened of each other that anything might happen. And one of them had a revolver. I watched them from the windows of the house. When Bloor came up alone, I had the bear clock poised ready. Exit Bloor. From my window I saw Vera Claythorne shoot Lombard, a daring and resourceful young woman. I always thought she was a match for him and more. As soon as that had happened, I set the stage in her bedroom. With the consciousness of her own guilt, the nervous tension of just having shot a man, be sufficient, together with the hypnotic suggestion of the surroundings, to cause her to take her own life? I thought it would. I was right. Vera Claythorne hanged herself before my eyes, where I stood in the shadow of the wardrobe. Now for the last stage. I shall finish writing this. After entrusting my bottle and its message to the sea, I shall go to my room and lay myself down on the bed. To my eyeglasses is attached an elastic cord. I shall lay the weight of my body on the glasses. The cord I shall loop around the door handle and attach it, not too solidly, to the revolver. What I think will happen is this. My hand, protected with a handkerchief, will press the trigger. My hand will fall to my side. The revolver, pulled by the elastic, will recoil to the door. Jarred by the door handle, it will detach itself from the elastic and fall. The elastic released will hang down innocently from the eyeglasses on which my body is lying. A handkerchief lying on the floor will cause no comment whatsoever. I shall be found laid neatly on my bed, shot through the forehead in accordance with the record kept by my fellow victims. Times of death cannot be stated with any accuracy by the time our bodies are examined. When the sea goes down, there will come from the mainland boats and men, and they will find 10 dead bodies and an unsolved problem on Indian Island. Signed, Lawrence Wargrave.
What is this from?
Step